here. So we're live, Chris.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Facebook Live broadcast of your home show. I'm Chris Weniger here along with Rebecca Guerrero. What are we doing today? We're talking about your home. If you're looking to buy your first house, moving up, moving down, or refinancing, we're talking about it.
Yes, welcome back, everyone. It felt good to have a weekend off with family for the holiday, and I hope everyone had a happy new year saying goodbye to 2020. I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of glad that 2020 is gone, done, over with, and hopefully all of the good things that we're hearing about 2021 will actually come to fruition. So layout of the show, as always, we're going to go into what's new in the mortgage market here over the past week. And if you want to make your New Year's resolution is becoming a homeowner, we would love to talk about it and help you do that. So we are going to talk about a few steps that you can take to become a homeowner in 2021.
But first, we have to do our history fact. I think you'll like this today. This is a fast one. In 1974, the 55-mile-an-hour speed limit was set into place by President Richard Nixon. The new speed limit set that it was on all the national highways was set at 55 miles an hour. So 46 years ago, they set it at national highways. It was 55 miles an hour. Before that, all states were kind of doing their own thing. It was anywhere from 40 miles an hour to 80 miles an hour. I don't know about you, Rebecca, but every time I'm on that freeway, it's like at least 80, if not.
I was going to say, I'd like to be one of those people that can say, yes, I go the speed limit 100% of the time, which I don't think I can say that. Mm-hmm. Nope.
Cruise control is like my best friend. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So let's roll right into the market update. New year, new beginnings, new things that are going on. The cool part is interest rates are still very, very favorable. It appears that they're going to stay low for the time being. So again, stay tuned every week. We're going to talk about that. Initial jobless claims that measures individual filing for unemployment for the first time fell 19,000 last week. So that was good. But here's an interesting fact that I found out. It was reported from the Department of Labor. The Department of Labor, the lowest unemployment we ever had in the last 50 years was at 2.5%. The highest rate we ever had was at 14.7%. And get a load of this. This all happened in 2020. So let that sink in for a moment. We went from the lowest unemployment we had at 2.5% to the highest at 14.7%, all in a 2-month time window. Crazy, crazy. Other than that, in 2020, the S&P 500, that's the top 500 stocks, gained 18.4%. This is the 13th year in the last 25 years that this index has returns of at least 15% in a calendar year. So just like putting a speed limit on, we want to make sure that you're not driving too fast on the road to home ownership without us. Rebecca, can you talk to our listeners more about this process?
Yes, I would love to talk about this process. I know that myself and Chris pride ourselves on educating our buyers so that they know exactly what's going on in the home buying process, because if you haven't gone through it, and even if you have, sometimes it's just a big whirlwind of this information that's going on. And I just know that I went from here to here and hopefully I buy the house, but I don't know if I'm going to make it there. Me and Chris want to slow it down a little bit. We don't want to go that 80 miles per hour. We want to go the 40 with you to make sure that you know what's going on, what the next step is, how do I prepare? Am I going to be successful with buying the home? So it's very exciting right now, being it as a new year. There are so many people out there who are coming of age to purchase a new home. So I think 2021 is going to be a great year, especially for first-time home buyers. And we have the information for you on how to be one of those people. So what we want to do is kind of give you the steps on how to best prepare yourself. So if you are just very, very, very first steps of, I think I want to buy a house, what am I supposed to do? This is the episode for you to watch, because we will tell you how to get there. And if you have any questions, at all about the home buying process, please reach out to us. We will be here, open arms. No question is a stupid question when it comes to buying a home for myself and Chris. So ask away, we'll give you the answer and get you set up. So one of the very first things that I like to tell my clients is credit. Credit is one of the biggest things that you need to look at when it comes to buying a home, because there are minimum credit scores, many different programs available, and they each come with their own credit requirements. So it really depends on which program you're going to go with, but optimum credit score is really number one thing that you can work on right away. So I always tell people, go on to annualcreditreport.com. That's where you can get a free annual credit report. So you can check for any errors or anything that is reporting incorrectly. You can check it. And if you have any issues that you see that, you know, it shows a late payment here, but I wasn't late, I didn't do that, you can request from the credit bureaus. If you have proof, they will investigate. And if they find that you have a legitimate claim, they will take it off, and that can help your credit score pretty quickly if they find that. One of the other big things is credit cards. A lot of people will rack up a balance on a credit card, making only those minimum payments. And, you know, making your minimum payment is better than not making your payment. But if you look at it, you're going to be paying for a very long time with those high interest credit cards. So trying to pay those down is always a big thing. Don't have late payments. Another very important thing. Do whatever you can to make that minimum payment, and don't pay it late. Because if you have one late, that can significantly lower your credit score. Don't close any good, outstanding, old lines of credit. So like we've always said in previous shows that we've had, you got that Best Buy card because you wanted to get that brand new 50-inch plasma TV. Now they're like 85 inches and 4 HD, whatever. I don't know. I'm not a TV aficionado, but you opened that up and you wanted to get that TV. You've made all the payments and there is no balance on it anymore. Don't close that if you have good credit history, because that is going to help. Having long-term good credit standing, credit history is a factor in having a good credit score. But check with us with your specific situation, because one thing for someone doing may not be the best for somebody else doing with their specific credit profile. So if you have any questions, we would love to take a look at it with you, run through some things that we think would be a good idea right away. We are not credit repair experts though. So if you have major questions, want to have a big deep dive in there, you want to have a professional look at that. But we also do have what's called Credit Tool, which we've mentioned in a couple of our episodes for the credit optimization program. So they will take a look, deep dive, run many simulations and say, okay, well, if you do these few items, we should get to this credit score in this amount of time. So if you have any questions on credit, please reach out to us.
I love the points that you bring up with regards to credit, because some of you are sitting at the beginning of the year and like, I like to get in the house, but my credit score is not there. It's okay. Believe me, we've seen it all. Our goal is to kind of get you from point A to point B, C, A, get you into that house. The neat part of it is we've been having some really good success with our credit tool department. The main thing is that they're going to create a program for you to get your score from here to here. And in essence, you got to do the work. But like I said, we've been having some very good success at that. So if you're not quite sure where it's at, or if you're not, oh, Chris, it's not too good, Rebecca, it's not too good, give us a call and we'll work on a good plan together.
Yeah, well, and sometimes it takes a while. It may not be a very immediate thing depending upon what your situation is, but we are here for the long term for you. My favorite stories is having somebody come to me with a very poor credit score and they say, I don't know what to do. I really want to buy a house. That's just something that would make me so happy and prideful of owning a home. And we're able to help them with their situation in, you know, maybe 12 months, 2 years down the road, they finally get there. And that's always what brings me the most joy, is helping those who truly didn't think that they could make it, because there is a way for you to become a homeowner, and we'll give you the tools to do that.
A neat story, a good success story I just recently had. We closed on it a couple of weeks ago. Had a customer in here, Her middle score was mid 500s, and she worked very, very hard. Now it took over a year, but in essence, she improved her score dramatically. I think she was high 600 somewhere, and there got into a great loan program in her first house. And I tell you that is a very, very satisfying closing to go to. And you know what? She did the work. She was committed in doing it. And again, we were committed in helping her doing it. So
exactly.
With it. So that's the main part as far as on what your credit score is. The next part is your budget. Hey, what do we got going on for the money? We take a look at the money coming in versus the money going out, and we got to make sure that all balances. So depending upon where you're at for income, we're going to take a look at your whole income profile. The biggest thing, again, with COVID going on, we want to make sure that you have what is called income stability. How stable is your employment? If you're self-employed, there's a couple extra hoops that we have to jump through, but again, we're willing to jump through them with you. When we talk about budget, the main thing is we want to make sure that you feel comfortable with the new payment. We take a look at what are you paying right now in rent or a current mortgage, and then taking a look at what your new payment's going to be. Then we want to take into consideration, okay, what's the heat bill? What's the electric bill? What's going on with your other payments that you have? A lot of times we want to factor in student loans. Obviously right now they are in deferment, but we also need to consider sooner or later they're going to come out of deferment, and then we need to account for a payment of that sort. My big thing is it's not what I say that you can afford, it's what you feel comfortable with. And it's not just skimming through the numbers, it's doing a really deep dive and making sure that you're going to be okay. We don't want to get you into a home and all of a sudden everything hits and then you're not able to make it. That would not be a very good situation at all.
No, it would not. I mean, like Chris said, we will give you, this is the max number that you can go with. This is if it's $2,000 a month, say, for example, but you really only feel comfortable at 15. I appreciate that. And I want to make sure you get to that monthly payment, because there are people who stretch themselves out. And that's not a good place to be, because if you don't have enough money for savings, which is a big thing, I always want to make sure that you are able to create that budget and save money still. Now that you're a homeowner, you're not able to call up your landlord and say, hey, my fridge broke, I need a new one, and they're going to come in and give it to you. No, that doesn't happen anymore. You're the one who's responsible for fixing that fridge. There are the home warranties that we discussed, so that's always something that I always encourage my first-time home buyers especially to look into, because that can save you some money. And even if it doesn't, it gives you the peace of mind knowing, well, if it does break, I have a way of fixing it, easier, faster, with less money out of pocket involved. So always making sure that you have savings. And we don't want you to say, okay, well, I think $2,000 a month is good, but then for whatever reason, you may lose your job. Unfortunately, we know that with COVID, a lot of people were in that situation, or my income got cut in half because of whatever reason, and now you can't afford it. That income stability that Chris mentioned is very, very, very important. So making sure that you're okay with that. But savings, how much will you need to put down? So you need to consider not only having money in savings, but how much money do you need to put down on a home? Now, there are some programs, especially for first-time home buyers, that you can have $0 to $1,000 minimum contribution of your own money. So there are those programs out there, but that's not always the case, and not everyone can qualify for those. So generally speaking, you're going to need anywhere from 3 to 5% as a down payment, but also there are closing costs involved with a home buying process that a buyer is responsible for, that not a lot of people realize. They just think, oh, I have 5% down, no problem. But how are you going to pay the closing costs? You need to make sure that you've had that saved up as well. So as a simple rule, I always tell people it's about 2 to 3% of the overall purchase price of the home. So you need to think, okay, well, my minimum contribution is going to be anywhere from 5 to 7%. So making sure that you have that. But again, there are those programs that are available, and we want to make sure that you have the 3 months reserves in PITI, which principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. So your overall mortgage payment, we'd like to see you have 3 months of reserves in there, because just like we said, we don't know what's going to happen. Things can pop up, and now I don't know what I'm going to do to pay my bills. If you have that emergency fund, at least you know, okay, I have 3 months where I can pay my mortgage and have a little bit of breathing room, peace of mind, a little bit less stress of the situation.
A great thing to consider is you take a look at, what are you paying in rent right now? Let's just say, for instance, it's $800. And then you're like, hey, I think I want to go to $1,100 worth of a new mortgage payment. A great rule of thumb is you can take a look at when you make your rent payment, pay that $800, and then take that difference and throw it in the savings account. Do it all at one time. Get yourself in the rhythm of making that payment. And then what's going to happen is that your budget's going to adjust accordingly. And you can kind of take into consideration, you know what, I think I can make this payment. Or it's like, whoa, wait a minute, $1,100, that's too much. We got to back this bus up and take a look at something at a lesser payment. Now, keep in mind too, we need to consider as far as your utilities, your heat bill, any other type of payments that are going to come with buying a house. You're going to have that extra added on there, but at least it gets your budget in line, for lack of better words. And in additional to, can you still save with making that bigger payment if that's where you want to go? It's easier to catch it now, because once you're in it, you're in it.
Yeah, you're locked into that home for 30 years. That's why we have the 30-year mortgage. So you need to make sure that you are able to do that. I love Chris's point of, if you are only paying $800 and you think you can go to $1,100, that's $300 a month that now you are putting into savings. So you're not only helping yourself with becoming used to that budget, that monthly payment, but you're also putting money into your savings account, which we just said, hitting hard on. Make sure you have that saved. But again, the cost of homeownership can be a little more expensive than rent, because some rents, they do include utilities. They do include your water, sewer, trash bill. When you are purchasing a home, that's not included in your mortgage payment. You need to pay that out of pocket. So if you have any questions on creating a budget, we would love to help you, so that okay, here are some things that you need to consider when buying a home. Are you going to be able to pay those per month? So you might want to adjust your mortgage budget accordingly to that.
So in review, basically the 3 biggest things to consider is your credit. Take a look at as far as where you're at for income, being stability, and in addition to how we're sitting for savings wise. So as a kind of a big review, let's start there. And then the good part of it is, once we get that situated, once we get you all pre-approved, then in essence, then we can refer you out to a real estate agent. Rebecca and I have a nice, great pool of real estate agents that we work with, that we know, like, and trust, where in essence, we can give referrals out to you, and they can help you find that house that you've been looking for.
Yep, we got plenty of A+ realtors in my mind. They are great. They are just like us, that they will hold your hand and get you through the process. If you have any questions, they are more than happy to answer those for you. And they have extensive knowledge on, when you are looking out at homes, that, hey, the emotions of it may be a little overwhelming, and say, oh my gosh, this house is perfect. I love it. I want to move in today. And the real estate agent will be like, well, I don't know if you realized all of that water damage over here. That might be a problem later. Are you sure you want to get yourself into this situation? They help you take a step back and say, oh, okay, well, maybe this isn't the house for me. They're not there to try and push you into a home. And if they are pushing you into a direction you don't feel comfortable with, probably not the real estate agent you want to be working with. The ones that I send my clients to, I know they are looking out for the best interest of the buyer, not their pocketbook.
Which is very important. So if you're looking at getting into a house for a new year, start with us. Again, we're going to take a look at your income. We're going to take a look at your credit. We're going to take a look at your savings and see what we can get you all qualified for in the many different loan programs that we have.
Yes, we are here for you. So don't forget that we are here for you.
So starting up the new year, we have a great group of good shows coming up every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Tune on in, forward and share this with your friends and family members and coworkers. Any other topics that you want to know about, learn more about, private message us and we will put that on our to-do list. I'm excited. We got some good shows coming on. So please let us know. Also, if you're interested in being a guest, we'd love to hear from you. So we are booking into March already, which is pretty exciting for our guests coming up.
Yep, we have a lot of great guests. I'm super excited for starting off the year with some of the people that we have handpicked for you guys. So thank you again so much for tuning in. We truly appreciate it. We love doing this and being able to educate you on your home. So quickly with the compliance that we must do, your home show is sponsored by CG Home Loan Partners of Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, NMLS number 2289. We are licensed in Minnesota, Wisconsin, and California. Chris Weniger, NMLS number 225608, Rebecca Guerrero, NMLS number 1728384, and Carrie Guerrero, NMLS number 209015. Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation is an equal housing opportunity. This is not an offer to enter into an agreement. Not all customers will qualify. Information, rates, and programs are subject to change without notice. All products are subject to credit and property approval. So find us at Facebook at Your Home Show. If you've not done so, please like, share, comment. We want to hear from you. So thanks again for tuning in, everyone. We will see you next week.